Learn lessons. This is interesting. I don't even know how you want to describe or label this one. But rights and freedoms. Rights and freedoms. Um, the way this things are going in the really in all aspects of the world, not just politically, um, socially, uh, economically. Uh, I mean, every aspect of this society, of our society, is at odds, and it's a problem. That's is it's not just going to stop on its own. It's a pretty big one. It's because we're essentially getting at that point of your rights are infringing on my freedom, or your freedom is infringing upon my rights. Um, and that's going to be a hard one because, in essence, you leave the state to determine who's who and what's what or what is. Um, yeah, this election stuff that's coming up is going to be crazy. It's going to be real interesting to see how we come out of it on the other side. Um, but but again, I mean, it transcends everything in society. Though. I mean, if you look at what I've been referring to in the other vids, relationships. Everybody's at odd, and you know, so it's like teaming up. Guys are teaming up on this side, women are teaming up on that side. So some of the lines are blending. Because back in the day, it used to be maybe an ethnicity type of thing that you grouped, but now it's a gender thing or whatever new gender someone decides to come up with. Um, but even a lot of those quote unquote new things that have been created, I mean they're going to have turmoil. They'll eat each other. I mean they'll destroy each other. Uh, you've seen cracks in those uh, being formed already. It's already been happening. Uh, and I think a lot of that just the identity politics comes from people. It's a normal society thing when people, I mean, not stand out in great detail, but just to stand out a little bit, to be recognized, to be noticed, to be whatever term you like to use, appreciated, to be seen. I mean, just it's a basic normal, societal, or no, I shouldn't say human nature. It's a normal human nature to want to be recognized. So, I mean, I understand that, but the level uh, in which it's taking place, though, is just shocking to me. It's even with the TikToks and things like that. I mean, because obviously, as you do something and you're trying to draw attention to yourself from the things that you do, well, obviously, the people who are watching you are going to want something more daring, greater, bigger, whatever, each time you come back. So that's why you have all these young folks out here doing all kinds of crazy stuff, um, because of it. So again, I understand the the, the 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 foundation it comes from. I understand the human nature aspect of just wanting attention, but attention isn't all it's cracked up to be. And if you don't believe me, ask an Adam. It's an inside joke. Um, and I used to say this a long time ago too. Scientists would sit there at their microscopes and look at atoms, or they think they're looking at an atom in their normal state, but you can't view, you can't observe an atom in its normal state because the mere essence of you viewing that atom, that molecule, it's changing its behavior because energy is being applied to it. The mere fact of you observing that atom, that molecule, is applying energy to it. Therefore, once energy is being applied to it, it is no longer in its normal state. So you can't technically observe it. And if you build that out, that's why you see people, once they get into some in the public eye in some form or fashion, they tend to act different. Why? Because all that energy, all those eyes are being applied to them. So they act differently. They change. They don't act the way they would in a normal setting. Well, they aren't being observed in the same manner, under that quote unquote microscopic lens. So it applies on all levels. Even children. If you look at children, if you put them in a room by themselves, they act one way. But if you're sitting there watching them and they know they're being watched, they're going to act differently. You can see them because they almost look to the side to see if they still watching me. Um, so it's just that when the energy of observation is applied, it's no the that which is being observed is no longer in its natural normal state. So so it kind of applies to all levels. But but yeah, this back to this the state of that we're in with this whole society thing is it's a problem. It's I don't see how it's going to get better. I don't know if those who are orchestrating it wanted to get better, or they wouldn't have done it in the first place. So, uh, we and it's a hard one to break down and debate because you know if look at someone who is have a store, it's like, well, I mean, and it does have uh, connotations towards what used to happen back in the day. There's some of that, as far as you know I don't want to serve this person, right? um, but now it's a different reason of why I don't want to serve this person. So the I guess if you will, the idea is the same, but it's I guess it's different reasons. So can you're back to the point of what rights and freedoms like. So if I own a business, do you have the uh, right to choose who you're going to serve? or maybe I should say freedom on that side? Do you have the freedom to serve and not serve who you choose? And as customers, do you have the right to go into any establishment to become a patron? Being that you may have different views or different beliefs. So, who's right? So you see the issue. Who's right? Their freedoms or their rights? Um, Arguments can be made on both sides. So again, so at that point, guess what? You leave it to government to determine it. It's funny that some folks say that, yeah, I want less government, but the very society that you've created requires you to have government to step in and to deal with these situations, because obviously you aren't going to be able to handle it on your own. So we're going to make a law to dictate how you're going to do it. So if you don't want your government stepping in and making the deciding decision or determining factor, uh, then you yourself are going to have to determine what's the best way to deal with this in an overall sense, from an overall perspective. And at what point and at what level do you want to compromise? Learn lessons.